explode. Okay, today we started off on the incline barbell press, and that doesn't seem like a really unique exercise. And sometimes what's going to be like the most quote-unquote sexy is not always going to be the best. You know, we could have made it a little goofy and we didn't. But here's what was the benefit of it. So what we did is take both of their 8-rep max weight. We actually set JJ back a little lower because he's had some injuries in the past, so we don't want to kind of push it too far on him today. With Kyle, we took his true 8-rep max. So what he did is he hit 8 reps, okay, and then we rest 15 seconds. He did 2 more. Rest 15 seconds, do 2 more. Rest 15 seconds, do 2 more. Rest 15 seconds, do 2 more. So what he basically did is he accomplished 16 reps with those real short intercept breaks right there, with what he could do 8 reps. So he basically doubled the count there. So what that does is it's heavy enough weight where he's still, you know, taxing those fast twitch muscle fibers that have the most potential for growth, but he's totally fatiguing them too, and he's getting a ton of density in there. So that means like a bunch of volume in a short amount of time by adding those extra. It's basically sort of like a rest pause on steroids was what that was.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So then next we broke into the eccentric, isometric, contrast, incline hammer strength presses. So if you don't have this machine, you could just do it on, you know, a Smith machine or some type of machine where you're not having to worry so much about the stability, where you can just blast those muscles. You also could do it on a flat bench or you know, like a flat machine variation. So most gyms are going to have some sort of machine if you're training at a bodybuilding gym. So that's what you want to do. So what he does is, instead of, we introduced already the squats on the machine. There's 3 pauses, but you think about it, there's a longer range of motion on a squats, and that's why there's a difference. That's why there's like 2 here, because they're not moving it as far as they do on a squat. So what they do is they come down about 3/4 of the way, stop for 3 seconds, go down about to 1/4 of the way, stop for 3 seconds, then go all the way down and blast the weight back up as explosively as possible. And so the reason we do this is you can produce, you know, some study shows much up to like 60+% more eccentrically than you can concentrically. So you can lower, in layman's terms, you can lower a hell of a lot more than you can raise up. You can hold statically, not as much as, you know, you can hold statically also more than you can raise up. So what that does is most people only fatigue themselves concentrically on the way up. What that does is add that element of eccentric overload as well as isometric. You think about it for bodybuilding, I mean, we can talk about mind-muscle connection till we're blue in the face, but I mean, what better way to do it than actually just sit there and squeeze and use those muscles to hold it. So a lot of people that are having problems kind of feeling the muscles, quote unquote, they can get a lot out of this. Okay, next we moved on to band flies. Okay, band flies, I know we're focusing, you know, some more advanced exercises, and band flies, again, you don't need a bunch of equipment. If you're stuck at, you know, a sales conference at the Motel 6 in Baton Rouge, and there's no gym at the Motel 6, just bring a band and slap it around the shower. I guess you might break the shower, but you can find something in the room you can put it around. And what you do there is the band, you're just doing a fly, okay? And so what the purpose of this is, don't make it into a press or extension. It's a squeezing movement, okay? And you're not worried about how much your weight or how much tension you have there. All you want to do is focus on the muscle, not on the movement. So it's very much a muscle and tension type of movement. You want to focus on those pecs doing the work, okay? So the other key element to take away from it is, so we did the first set was a minute, as many reps as possible. Second set, 45 seconds, as many reps as possible. Third set was 30 seconds, okay? So if you notice, like when Kyle was fatiguing out on the first set, what he did is, since we have a band, and it doesn't have to be like a chain with like linear resistance, you can actually, you know, it's actually can do, you know, a flying type movement while you're standing, it's kind of like a mechanical advantage drop set. What he did is, when the weight or the resistance was too much, he just stepped closer to the machine, so it pulls tight as you walk away, so it gets less resistance as you move closer. And what that did is kind of like work as a mechanical advantage drop set, but instead of like a normal time under tension set where you hit that fatigue and you do partial repetitions, which that's a good method too, but we're not doing that today, is he actually took it, you know, quote unquote beyond failure by making it a different sort of movement. We're keeping it very similar, so it's instead of like just bastardizing it and doing some other sort of fly, it's sort of okay, let's be scientific here for a second. It's sort of a micro evolution versus a macro evolution, okay? Then finally finish off with the Juarez Valley 10 dips. All that is, it goes, first set is, you notice he's leaning forward a bit, just putting emphasis on the chest. So the first set's 10 reps. You walk across your prison cell. In this case, we're at the gym, so you walk 8 feet there, 8 feet back. Next he does 1 rep. Then he does 9 reps, 2 reps, 8 reps, 3 reps, 7 reps, 4 reps, 6 reps, 5 reps. So all the Juarez Valley is you do that sequence. Everything from 10 to 1, the one time through. It's not a second time through. It would be a different thing at that point. And you keep a time for that. And what you do is, basically it keeps a constant level of intensity, because you go, say 10 plus 1 is 11, 9 plus 2 is 11, 6 plus 5 is 11. So you're always doing 11 reps dispersed between 2 sets. One might be high, one might be low. You could do a Juarez Valley 100, you could do a Juarez Valley 5, you could do a Juarez Valley 20, whatever. And it doesn't have to be, hey, my shoulder hurts, I can't do dips. Great, hit some push-ups. You could do something else. You could even do it with a barbell if you wanted to. So there's all sorts of, all the walks for is you get some sort of like just a little bit of rejuvenation, so you can actually recover and do the next set. There's nothing magical about it, and kind of keep you, it's sort of like an active recovery, short walk, come there, come back, and and again, you're sort of self-regulating how much intensity you have here, because you can haul ass or you can walk slow, and that, as you become a more advanced, more intuitive lifter, you want to do it as fast as possible. It gets hard, you slow down. It's easy, instead of talking about the Cowboys this weekend, just walk faster, get it done faster. That's what you want to do. The key variable, like we talked about in the beginning here, with these is density. As much, you're trying to get it done as short a time as possible.